Picture it, late November 2024. Another Giving Tuesday has come and gone. You stayed up late tweaking your Canva graphics. You blasted out 5, 10, 15 emails. You posted on social media all day. And at the end of it, you raised $642.13. Was it worth it? Maybe, maybe not. Whether it's Giving Tuesday or a local Giving Day, these campaigns come with big promises, but do they actually deliver? Are they just another shiny nonprofit obligation that leaves your team exhausted and your donors tapped out? Today, we're breaking it down on a special episode called Profitable or Pointless, and we're talking about Giving Days.
Welcome to Profitable Nonprofits. I'm Bernadette Mack, and I help nonprofit leaders just like you build sustainable, thriving organizations without the burnout. If you're tired of constantly chasing donations, or you struggle with engagement, or you're wondering how to make a bigger impact, well, you're in the right place. Each week, we tackle real nonprofit challenges with practical, no fluff strategies that you can apply right away. You're doing all the hard work, so now let's make it a little easier.
All right, let's start with the big one, Giving Tuesday. It's global, it's feel good, it's everywhere. You've got social media flooded with hearts and hashtags, inboxes filled with countdowns and today only appeals. And there's just a general wave of awareness that feels pretty good to be a part of. But like everything, there are pros and cons. So on today's special Profitable or Pointless episode, let's take a look at some of the positive aspects and the negative ones of participating in Giving Tuesday. Let's start with the pros, all the good news. First off, Giving Tuesday has massive reach and recognition. It has turned into a worldwide movement. In 2023, it generated over $3.1 billion in donations in the United States alone. And there were participation from 34 million adults. That's a lot. And this kind of global recognition offers nonprofits a unique opportunity to tap into a vast audience that's already primed to give. Everybody's already talking about it. So you're just tapping into that energy. Great. That's a great pro. Another one, Giving Tuesday can amplify your message. This day encourages giving in all of its forms. Money, time, talent. It's a day of generosity. And it elevates the idea of philanthropy. And it gets people just talking about generosity. What does it mean? Why is it important? This collective focus can help amplify your organization's mission and message, and you can maybe reach individuals who might not have engaged with you otherwise. Third pro is that it leverages collective energy. And this one's big. Being part of a global movement means that your organization can ride the wave of collective enthusiasm. And this kind of shared momentum can really boost your campaign's visibility and credibility, making it more likely to resonate with potential donors. It's really great for smaller organizations that just couldn't create that kind of buzz on their own. And it encourages diverse forms of giving, which we'll probably talk about is also a con. But on the pro side, Giving Tuesday isn't just about monetary donations. It promotes all acts of generosity, from volunteering to sharing skills. And this kind of inclusivity allows your supporters to engage with you in ways that align with their capacities and interests. Maybe they don't have the funds to donate, but they really care and they want to volunteer or they want to do something to help further your mission. Another pro is that Giving Tuesday provides resources and support. So, the Giving Tuesday organization itself offers a ton of free resources, including toolkits and templates and guides. And it helps nonprofits anywhere plan and execute a successful Giving Tuesday campaign. And also, you might even be able to use some of that material and some of those examples in other ways throughout the year, not just for Giving Tuesday. And this kind of support and even sort of like training can be especially beneficial for the smaller organizations and especially ones with limited marketing budgets because they really show you how to make your messages go further. And number six, Giving Tuesday sparks innovation. Participating in Giving Tuesday can inspire nonprofits to experiment with new types of fundraising strategies and different types of engagement tactics. And this kind of innovation can lead to more effective campaigns throughout the year, not just on Giving Tuesday. All right, so lots of pros here. I mean, it's a great thing. I'm not here to say Giving Tuesday is not something you should participate in. We're just taking a hard look at why you might not want to participate if that's the case. And so we're looking at the pros, but let's also take a look at the cons. And the big, big, big one for me is the timing. The timing of Giving Tuesday is, let's just say, rough. I mean, it's hitting right after Thanksgiving, it's after Black Friday, it's after Small Business Saturday, and it's after Cyber Monday. So after all of that, people are like emotionally tapped out with all the different heartstring pulls and tugs, and they're also probably financially depleted. So you're saying, let's do a huge fundraising campaign after we've just encouraged everyone to spend all their money on, holiday presents and then shop local and then shop online and we've had all these sales and then basically if you even have any scraps of money left, we want you to give it on Giving Tuesday. So I just feel like the timing is all wrong. I mean, Giving Tuesday could have been the Tuesday before Thanksgiving or even the day before Thanksgiving. Kick it off with generosity, with that message. It sets you up for Thanksgiving. Be generous, be thankful. Then spend your money on useless crap you don't need on Black Friday. Stand in line for hours, you know, at these manufactured sales. But anyway, how do I really feel about Black Friday? Um, but and of course, shopping small business, local, very important, great, super great message. And even Cyber Monday, get your discounts online. Okay. But do that after you've already given to a great campaign like Giving Tuesday and you've really contributed to that whole International Day of Generosity and celebrated with your family and giving thanks and celebrating all of the abundance that you have in your life before you go and spend the rest of your cash on, gifts and special sales. So for me, the big con on Giving Tuesday is that timing. It's also a rough time of year for adding a campaign in unless you've already integrated it into your whole fundraising scheme. You're already knee deep in year-end fundraising at that point. By the time November rolls around, this is like peak time. You're trying to get people to give to your year-end campaign, and you now have to launch sort of like a mini campaign right in the middle of it. And it can be confusing, and it can also it can be confusing for you to try to orchestrate, but then also for your donors. It's like, what is the real goal here? What do you really want me to participate in? And if you're an organization that like really keeps track of, we brought this much in for our end of year fundraising campaign and we brought this much in for Giving Tuesday. I mean, you got to really massage the numbers to make sure that you're not cannibalizing your own fundraising system. So, you know, the timing is really something that you have to take into consideration if you're going to participate in Giving Tuesday. And a lot of groups seamlessly integrate Giving Tuesday into their year end fundraising. And it's all just part of a bigger campaign. And that's great. But if not, if you don't work it just right, then you could be working against yourself and maybe asking people to participate in Giving Tuesday, and they're giving at a lower level than they might have if they were part of, a more strategic year-end campaign, and then you've missed them for that. So it's just something to think about. So there is, we talked about how there's massive reach and recognition for Giving Tuesday. And yes, it has enormous reach. But most of that visibility goes to organizations that have big budgets and they already have pre existing brand awareness. So, for a small nonprofit with like 400 Instagram followers and no paid ad strategy, your message can get completely lost in the Giving Tuesday noise. There's already a ton of competition on that day, and competing for attention on the most crowded fundraising day of the year might not deliver for you if you're a small shop the ROI that you're hoping for. So we talked about also that Giving Tuesday can amplify your message, and it can, but only if you have the tools to do it well. So if you don't have time to plan a campaign, write good copy, have great visuals and graphics, and warm up your email list ahead of time, then you might find yourself shouting into the void. Without preparation, your Giving Tuesday messaging might actually weaken your overall brand, or it might just feel rushed or like stuffed in there and completely inconsistent with all of the other things that you're doing. And we said Giving Tuesday leverages collective energy, but that collective energy can also create a collective drain. Your staff might already be really deep into that year-end fundraising prep and maybe even event logistics if you do events at the end of the year. And throwing a Giving Tuesday campaign into the mix, even if it's like a small one, like a light version, it can pull focus and resources from initiatives that are more targeted and aligned with your goals. So the whole buzz about Giving Tuesday, which, is that collective energy, can also become a distraction. And here's another one that's big for me, and I feel kind of strongly about it. Surprise, surprise. Giving Tuesday encourages diverse forms of giving. And that means they're not just talking about dollars. They want you to be generous in all ways. So, money, time, talent, kindness, all of that is part of the broad messaging for Giving Tuesday. But that can actually confuse people. Like, what do you want me to do? Are you asking for volunteers? Are you asking for donations? Are you asking for all of the above? Because if everything is a call to action, then nothing is. And if you have a small team and you have limited marketing capacity, it's tough to communicate these different, multiple different asks with any kind of clarity. And people then don't know what to do and then they just don't participate. I feel like if Giving Tuesday is about raising money, which at the end of the day, that's what the metrics are all about. It's like this many billions of dollars is raised. If that is the metric, if that's what we care about, if that's what we want from that day, ultimately, even if we're dressing it up with, oh, we also love, acts of kindness and volunteerism, like save it, create a volunteer day, create, some other act of kindness day that doesn't involve giving money. If Giving Tuesday is about money, say you want donations. Just go for it. Keep one focus. Don't dilute the message. If that's your goal, say so. Give people a clear path to help you. All right, moving right along. We talked about the fact that Giving Tuesday, the organization, provides free resources and support. And the resources are helpful, but they're not custom. So the templates and the toolkits don't magically create compelling content or adapt to your audience. So it's great, but it's generic. And frankly, many small organizations don't have the time to customize what they've been provided, or they don't even have the skills, or they don't have the money to pay someone to customize what has been provided. You still need someone to write the emails, like authentic emails that come from your organization, not generic ones, and create the graphics and schedule the posts and follow up with the donors. And Giving Tuesday does spark innovation. It can inspire you to come up with new ideas for your whole organization that you could use anytime. But it can also give you an unrealistic amount of pressure to launch something super creative just because it's Giving Tuesday and you want to stand out. Trying to pull off new tactics or tools on a tight deadline without adequate testing, back to testing, can lead to a flop and basically wasted energy that could have been better spent optimizing what already works for you. So, yeah, it can give you great new ideas, but if you don't have the time or the energy to invest in really making sure those ideas are going to fly, it could be a big waste of time for you. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to turn our attention to local giving days. Are they worth the hype? Are they profitable? Or are they pointless? We'll see.
Hey, nonprofit leaders, does your mission statement actually inspire action? Or is it an old relic filled with nonprofit jargon and cliches? If you're looking to craft a mission, vision, and value statement that truly connects with donors, volunteers, and stakeholders, I've got the perfect resource for you. My Mission Workbook is a DIY guide designed to help you and your team clarify your purpose, align your messaging, and create statements that fuel real impact. Stop talking around what you do and start connecting your mission with donors and members. Everything, and I do mean everything, starts with a well-written mission statement. Grab your copy today at BernadetteMac.com under Resources.
All right, let's shift our attention to local giving days. And you've probably seen them pop up in your region. Maybe you have one near you in your county or your city or your town. Things like the Great Community Give, Colorado Gives Day, Big Give SA. I'm sure there's, thousands of examples. And these are events that are coordinated a lot of times by community foundations, also sometimes by tech platforms or even media groups. And they usually include some sort of centralized donation platform. They have leaderboards and prize incentives for groups based on their fundraising performance during the time. They usually get local media promotion, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get a little bit of community magic involved. So it's bringing the type of thing that we're doing for Giving Tuesday down to a more local scale and making it more relevant to the people in the community that are hopefully participating. So let's break down why local giving days can actually be a powerful tool. But of course, we'll also look at the cons. And we're talking especially here about small to mid-sized nonprofits and how they are usually looking to grow their local visibility. So a great con for this is local attention equals local dollars. And this is a big one. Local giving days bring attention to your zip code, to your neighborhood, to your county, to your donors. And sometimes that's exactly the level of visibility that a small organization needs. They don't need global reach. There's low-hanging fruit right in their own backyards of, a lot of ground that can be covered in visibility and awareness right in their own local area. And it's easier to cut through the noise locally than it is nationally. And local giving days can really capitalize on that. And a lot of times people want to give where they live. I mean, that's a really powerful proposal to people. Support where you are, like the people around you, your community. And all they really needed was just a reason and a reminder. So a local giving day provides both of those things. And during a local giving day, you might get some visibility that you wouldn't get on your own. I mean, face it, a lot of small nonprofits cannot afford paid ad campaigns or even PR firms. And when your organization is part of a local giving day, you can really benefit from a big wave of shared marketing because all the people participating are working together to promote the entire day for the whole community. And you might get picked up in a local radio mention. That could be part of the package that is offered from whomever is organizing the giving day. You might show up in community wide emails. Your logo could be featured on the main website. I mean, that's not going to happen on Giving Tuesday's website. And also on a leaderboard, even if it's just for a short time, that's kind of some visibility that you didn't have to pay for, and it can really help some new donors discover you. Many giving days offer matching funds and prize incentives, which can be really strong motivators for groups. I mean, if you have a matching gift from a generous donor and you have someone out there thinking, I'm going to give $50 to this campaign, and they see that on this giving day, that $50 can turn into 100 because it was doubled and it was matched. Well, that's a no-brainer. So you're really providing a motivation to people to get involved on that day because you've got these matching gifts, which is great. And also, there's usually prize incentives. So even if you're not the top fundraising group in the whole giving day, sometimes there's random prize drawings. I know one that happens here locally in the Shenandoah Valley is they have power hours, and the groups, all of the organizations can promote their power hour, and all of the groups that have their power hour get entered into some sort of drawing to win additional money. So it's not just the donations they're going for, it's those extra prizes. This is a sort of gamification that gives your supporters a reason to act on that day. And it creates urgency in a way that a traditional campaign can't always do. And a local giving day can give your board and your staff something focused to rally around. One of the hardest things about nonprofit fundraising is keeping your team engaged between the big moments. Giving days create a natural rallying point. It's 24 hours usually. Sometimes they open giving early so you can collect donations from people who are prone to forget or just want to take care of it right away. But in general, they're usually like 24 hours. It's a giving day. It's clear, it has energy, it makes sense. And that is a way for everyone to kind of get hyped around that one giving day. You can even assign board members to specific hours to help you promote. You can run short social media takeovers or real time updates. A giving day can also encourage collaboration instead of competition. And that could be one of the more underrated benefits of a local giving day. It can actually help foster community between the nonprofits that are participating. Organizations can boost each other's content, they can share success stories, and even come together on events or cross promotion of some sort. And instead of everyone just working solo, they feel like, we're all in this together. Our whole community is coming together to raise money for all of these nonprofits. And it helps us all by promoting and helping every group raise more. And that kind of solidarity and visibility and collaboration can really go a long way, especially in communities where smaller organizations don't always feel seen or don't have that same level of visibility as some of the bigger ones. So, yes, Local giving days can work, but that doesn't mean they automatically will. And for some small teams, these kind of opportunities can also come with some trade offs. So, as is the style, let's walk through the counterpoints to each of these pros that we just discovered because not every perk is a perfect fit for every organization. All right, first off, local attention equals local dollars, but only if you already have a local base. If your organization hasn't built strong roots in the local community, which is totally, that's a totally typical thing. A lot of groups are not locally based. They may not be serving their actual local community in what they do. And if they don't have that strong root by having like events and partnerships and regular donor communication, a giving day, a local giving day, isn't going to suddenly change that. You're still marketing to the same audience. And if that audience isn't engaged, the results are going to reflect that. Number two, you might get visibility you wouldn't get on your own. Yes, but only if your story stands out. Every organization is using the same platform. Often they're using the same templates because these giving days do provide you with those resources. And so using templates can make things a lot easier, especially for small groups that are strapped for time. Most of the organizations are probably even using the same Canva graphics with the same like give today messaging. So unless you have copy and visuals or storytelling that cuts through that sameness, you might end up just getting buried. Everybody's using the same thing and it doesn't really ever even break through. Creating that standout content is going to take time, it's going to take intention, and it's going to take some creativity. And that's not easy when you're juggling, 10,000 other tasks. All right. Now, with the matching funds and the prize incentives, this is great. It's a nice motivator, like we discussed, mainly for organizations that can activate a crowd fast. So let's just say you're trying to qualify for most donors in an hour. There's a prize for the most donors in an hour, and you're trying to achieve that. But if your organization can barely get 30 people to open an email, that whole prize situation, that competition is going to feel like you lost before you even start. So, yes, it can be great if you are able to activate people and enough people in a short amount of time. And also, chasing prize money or chasing matching gifts can push you to divert resources from more strategic long term work just for a shot at a one time bonus. And that gamble doesn't always pay off. And we know that giving days can give your board and staff something focused to rally around, but it can also give them one more thing to be confused or overwhelmed by. If your board isn't already actively engaged, a giving day isn't going to change that overnight. And if your team is already, up to their eyeballs in grants and year end giving or event planning, this can feel like yet another campaign shoved into the calendar without any great context. Without clear roles and goals and prep time, the energy you're hoping to generate might just turn into fatigue or worse, have everyone be frustrated. Giving days encourage collaboration, not competition. But let's be honest, leaderboards create winners and losers. So even in the most well-intentioned events, the organizations that raise the most get more attention, more visibility, and often more money. That's not inherently bad, but for smaller organizations who pour everything into a local giving day and they still don't make the top 10, it can feel really defeating. Like you're always just a few steps behind the big guys. Plus, if you're not already connected with peer organizations, you might feel left out of those collaboration opportunities that are happening during a local giving day. So, the bottom line here is local giving days amplify what you already have. They don't build capacity necessarily, and they don't build your strategy, and they don't really build donor engagement from scratch. So, if you have a solid foundation, then a local giving day can really give you a boost and you can build on that. You can improve things, but they're not going to build these things from scratch. And if you're shaky going in, the effort that you have to put in might not be worth it. So let's take one more break and come back and talk about what's in it for you. What's the ROI for your organization?
Hey, nonprofit leaders. Still thinking email is just for sending announcements or asking for donations? Think again. Your inbox strategy could be the key to unlocking donor engagement, campaign success, and year-over-year growth. And I've got just the thing to help you get it right. My on-demand training, How Email Will Shape the Success of Your Next Campaign, breaks down what's working in email today, what to stop doing immediately, and how to build email habits that actually convert. Whether you're just getting started or you're ready to revamp your entire approach, this session is packed with insights that you can put to use right away. Watch the training now at BernadetteMac.com under Resources and give your next campaign the inbox glow up it deserves.
All right, this is the spot where we're trying to decide, is this profitable or pointless? So are giving days profitable for you or are they pointless? Should you not waste your time? Should you eschew all giving days or should you pick and choose? Maybe you want to try a local one. Maybe you want to jump into Giving Tuesdays because you have the foundation and the people, and it's easy for you to work that into your year-end campaign. The answer is not going to be the same for everyone. And because giving days are not automatically good or bad, just like all of the things we talked about, there are pros and there are cons, and it's important to decide what is going to work for you and what maybe you should skip. A giving day is just a tool. Like any tool, you have to decide, is this going to work for us? And is this going to work for us right now? Or is this something we need to move toward? Or maybe it's something we need to move away from. And here's how you can figure that out. So before doing any type of giving day, Giving Tuesday, a local giving day, or any other thing that I haven't mentioned or thought of, do you have the capacity to promote it well? So if you have a plan to just post a couple of graphics the day before and hope for the best, I mean, I love you, but that is not a plan. So do you have the capacity to actually do a good job promoting it? Or are you just doing it because you feel like if you don't, you're missing out or you're being left out? Everyone else does Giving Tuesday. We have to do it. If that's the reason, that's not a good enough reason. Giving days require you to warm people up and have a lead in, and even more importantly, have follow up. And if you can't commit to putting in the hours to prep your strategy and everything else that goes into it, it might end up being more stress than it's worth. Another thing to find out is, do you have an engaged donor base already? If your people are already opening your emails, if they're liking your posts and they're showing up, then yes, a giving day can be a great way to rally those people into special action. But if you're struggling with visibility or trust or any of those things, a giving day is not going to magically fix that. You'll just be one voice in a very crowded space, and it might not be worth your time. Ask yourself also, does this align with our broader fundraising strategy? If a giving day supports your message and feeds into your year-end momentum, awesome. But if it interrupts your appeal, competes for attention, or sends mixed signals, then you're asking your audience to multitask their generosity. And confused donors are not going to donate. And think about this too. Can you use it as a relationship builder, not just a revenue grab? The best giving day campaigns are not just about dollars. Now, I know I said make it about the dollars. If you want money, say you want money. But they also are an opportunity to to tell stories, not sell stories, although that's sort of the same thing. The stories that you can tell feature your volunteers, they highlight your impact, they celebrate your board, they thank your team. So these are all ways that you can build deeper relationships with all of those different types of people. And you can incorporate that into your messaging for whatever giving day you're participating in. So, yes, it is about the gifts, it is about the donations. You're not asking people to maybe, do an act of kindness and also volunteer and also this, that, and the other. No, you're asking for donations. But in order to do that, you're telling stories about the people closest to your organization, about the impact that you're making, and you're celebrating the people involved and thanking your team. If you can use the day to deepen those types of connections and not just squeeze out one time gifts, then you're starting to play the long game. And that's where the real value is. So, if you're still not sure if you should double down on giving days or completely ditch it, do a quick gut check from your last giving day or any campaign that you tried to rush or something small that you stuck into the rest of your calendar of campaigns. Ask yourself, did we get new donors? Because that's important. If you're just going out to the same people all the time and you're not able to use a giving day to attract new donors, that's something to really consider. And did those new donors from the last campaign give again? Huge. That's a huge question and a huge thing to know going forward. Because first time donors, one time donors are easy to attract when you've got all the buzz and the hype and the energy around a giving day. But keeping them, that's where you're going to see the ROI. So if they gave to you once and you never heard from them again, that could be a red flag of, maybe giving days are not what we should be focused on. We need to start playing a longer game. We need to focus on the ROI. Or maybe we do the giving day, but we focus a lot more on the follow up and getting those first time donors to become regular donors. So another thing to look at is, was your team energized? Were people jazzed about doing this giving day, whether it was local or Giving Tuesday, or were they just completely wiped out or annoyed because they're overextended and it's taking attention away from the regular campaign business that they've been working on and diluting their efforts? So that's important feedback to get. Were people energized around this whole effort? Did it feel like something that was sustainable? This kind of a giving day should feel like a win if you're doing it right, not a crisis or not an imposition or a distraction. And finally, did this giving day support your overall messaging, or was it like an awkward add on? So you've got all of your regular messaging going, and then you're taking, Giving Tuesday messages and throwing them in. Does it all work together, or are you just copying pasting from givingtuesday.org and using their materials, and that doesn't really support what you've been saying the rest of the year? If you had to twist your mission, so to speak, into a Giving Day theme just to try to participate in it, then it's probably not going to land with people. Good campaigns fit naturally. And if it felt forced for you to participate, then maybe you need to think twice. All right, so overall, Giving days can be profitable, but only if they support your mission, fit your strategy, and energize your audience. If they don't, maybe it's okay to say no or pick and choose what kind of giving days you're going to participate in. So figure out, are giving days profitable for you or pointless? And I've got one more tip for you on giving days. If you're not ready to really fundraise hard for your local giving day because maybe it falls at a weird time, you're trying to do other events or whatever, no problem. You don't have to participate. Yes, it can be great, as we've discovered here, but you could try participating in a way that lets you use that giving day for lead generation instead. Maybe you create a special little guide or have a small event or even a virtual event or have a giveaway of something in exchange for email signups. And you use that giving day to try to grow your list. And then over time, with that list, you can cultivate them into donors later. So you can flip the script on giving days and really use it as a list growing exercise and think long term and don't just chase those short term dollars. So for this week, I want you to really decide on giving days, any ones that come up in your area or throughout the year. Are you going to be in or are you going to be out? And if you're going to be in, you've got to have the energy, the strategy, and the support to make it work. And you should go for it. But if not, then say no confidently and know that you're going to use that time and that attention and that donor engagement in a way that doubles down on what's really working for your organization right now. And if you've got a giving day win or a giving day flop that you want to share, I would love to hear it and maybe even feature your story in a future episode. So leave me a voicemail at 914-297-7692.
Thanks for tuning in to Profitable Nonprofits. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. Also, consider providing a 5-star rating and help more nonprofit leaders find the show. For more resources and strategies to grow your nonprofit, visit BernadetteMac.com. And if you have a question or a topic you'd love me to cover, send me a message or leave me a voicemail at 914-297-7692. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep up the good work. And remember, running a nonprofit is tough, but you're tougher.